Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Push to Pass F1 podcast. Today's episode is going to be our Austrian Grand Prix review and a preview of, I think, comfortably one of our favourite Grand Prix weekends of the season. Reef, is that correct? The British Grand Prix?
Oh, for sure. I think it's hotting up to be a good one. There's outside press as well, which is making it interesting.
Yeah, we will speak about that one shortly. But we were just speaking before we started recording. We're both getting serious sort of FOMO from not being there because I went last year and like seeing all the everything about just like not even the racing, just around the racing, all the stuff like the camping and that. I just want to go back.
Yeah, maybe next year.
Hopefully. Right, let's look back to Austria. There's quite a bit to unpack. First of all, from the race, we will look at that Antonelli Verstappen crash, which I don't think you saw.
I know
Did you
I
see it during
missed
the race?
that. No, I missed it.
Yeah, it was. It was a rush of blood to somewhere, and I don't think it was his brake pedal.
That's fair. Fair.
No, it was just one of those like you look at it and you could see it coming off from a mile off, but then when you watch the onboards and like the replay, you can sort of understand how it's happened because he is literally just not slowed down in time, and like unfortunately Max was just in the firing line, but Max weirdly seemed quite cool and like quite calm.
Yeah, I saw a quote afterwards about it, and I thought, oh wow, he's taken like the high road there for a change.
Yeah, because it wasn't George that crashed into him.
Yeah, I suppose that rookie exuberance, he can get away with it.
And also, I think Max just doesn't really care that much this year.
No, I think he knows that the title fight's over now.
Yeah, I think it's officially over now.
Yeah.
And I think it's down to the McLaren. So let's look back on our predictions because one of us looked really good and the other one looked quite bad. You predicted a Norris very good weekend, and I think it's fair to say that happened.
Yeah, I think, what is it, 22 episodes in, I finally got a prediction right.
Yeah, it only took 20 episodes and you finally got one.
So, every dog has his day.
I think it's a huge result for Lando.
Yeah, but much needed. Much needed.
He just seemed very something. It was very different this week. He was very much like more. He seemed a lot calmer in the car, and I
I
think that
think,
was to do with what McLaren were doing as well. They were like constantly talking to him.
I'd say as well, he was a lot calmer because I don't think anyone really had his pace. I mean,
Oh no, he was comfortably quickest.
lap for lap, I think Oscar was just as quick, but in a race setup, I don't think, well, we saw it, Oscar just didn't have enough. So I think that's probably why he was calmer, is he knew he was in control, didn't really have anyone pressuring him too much. I mean, obviously he still had to get things right because the gap between the two of them wasn't far. But I think he was just a lot more measured, clear-headed, executed well, exactly what he needed.
I think Lando also got a lot more of like I'm not going to call it luck, but I think his back marker sort of situation when overtaking lapped cars was quite a bit more comfortable when Oscar nearly got put into a wall.
Yeah, well, I mean, Colin Pinto says he didn't see him apparently, as you told me, but I'm not. I mean, I think you'd have to believe him there because why else would he try put the leader of the championship into the wall?
But even say if it was like one of those freak races where like one of the back marker teams were potentially leading, you could sort of maybe let him off. But on McLaren, they've been at the front all year.
Yeah, yeah.
How he hasn't recognised. Also, apparently he is under threat, and I think Bottas has been in talks with Alpine this week.
Yeah, he's had over five Grand Prix now, hasn't he? Has he?
Yeah, is he?
I think they initially said he was on a five-race contract.
Yeah,
And
he's either had five or this weekend is his fifth or something like
and
that.
he's not exactly pulled trees up, which everyone predicted he wouldn't, because why would he when he's never been in the car before and he's basically a rookie?
Yeah, he's been quite bang average.
Yeah, well, what do you expect? Bang average car.
Bang average car for a bang average driver.
I just think the expectations there aren't well aligned to the performance of the car and the performance of the people that they're putting in that seat.
Um, I think before we go on to looking at the actual like results and our driver gradings, I think the other thing we can talk about is Williams. Quite another shocking weekend.
Awful weekend. Awful.
Well, Sainz didn't start, and people
Carl-
thought he was
Carlos
doing
Sainz
the.
pulling the Sunny Haze.
Oh, that's another thing we can talk about. Did you go and watch the F1 film?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Thoughts on it?
Um, it's quite funny because I said straight away to my girlfriend what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it, and it seems like the things that I've seen have mostly had the same opinion as me, where it was a good watch, but I mean there wasn't a scene where a crash didn't happen, which annoyed me at the
Yeah.
end because I was just like, you get they tee it up for some like wheel to wheel, and then just straight away you just clip him. I was like, oh well, he's in the barrier again.
Or someone's become an aeroplane.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that and I knew what they'd based it off because I'd seen
Yeah.
that Alex Peroni crash before.
Yeah, the F3 crash.
Where my missus was like, "Oh my god, that's so unrealistic! Look how far he's gone." And I was like, "Oh no, to be fair, that actually has happened in real life." But I didn't like the romance thing. Like, why did they have to have him fall
No,
in love with his strategist? Like, that didn't need to happen.
yeah, they were like one of the main points. They were like, "Oh, you've got this female technical director. She's the first in the history. She wants to prove all these people wrong, and then she has a one night stand with the driver."
Yeah, it's like I can see why people would be quite annoyed at that, but I just thought
And
they didn't need it for the plot.
like, this is gonna sound weird. I don't think they needed to set the female characters up how they did,
Yeah, well, they had
because
the
the
mechanic mess up.
yeah, and she, like, her only real purpose in there was to sort of be a bit bad at her job, and then
Well,
for people to defend her.
and I think the reason she was there was to show the character development of Joshua Pierce because at the start
Yeah,
he didn't like her, and then at the end he'd become all wholesome and he was like a team worker. But I like the film. Don't get me wrong, and I understand that people are saying, "Oh well," I saw one saying, "Oh, that's not accurate because they've got Sonny Hayes driving a 1991 Lotus and they weren't sponsored by Camel then," and I'm like it's a film. Like you don't have to like read into that. It's for Hollywood.
some of them they were like, some of the stuff I've seen online is I made a TikTok about it. And the comments on it, some of them were mental. It was like 2 out of 10. This is so unrealistic. A strategy meeting would not look like that. They wouldn't be talking about plans and saying the word combat. That's offensive.
Just like come on.
I just think it was it was very Hollywooded, if that's a word.
Yeah, but it's gonna have to be when it's. I mean, the ultimate aim is to get new fans and to also create an entertaining film. I wouldn't mind watching a film that was like really realistic because I think it's quite hard to make it really realistic. So I'd enjoy it. But for someone who's not that into Formula One or has never really watched it before, they're not going to find it entertaining when you've got people like debating whether to go on like a hard or a soft compound. Like then it's going to go straight over their head. They're not going to respect it.
Yeah, like if they did this, if the strategy things instead, because they sort that was sort of where they had like, you could tell it was less of a racing film and it was more of a film because they had like comedy bits. If they sat in there going, well, we could go on to a three stop, but the delta is this, and then we might have to do some LIGO and we might have tire deck. People are just going to go, what are you on about?
Exactly. So I think people have been unreasonable, and we've got Brad Pitt in it. It's not going to be this ultra realistic film. I thought they did pretty good, to be honest.
I I think the characters and the actors were really good. I think how it was shot and how it was filmed and everything like that was good. The soundtrack is incredible. I really like the songs from it.
I didn't like the Ed Sheeran one at the end. I was like,
Oh no, no, yeah, that one was just they. I think they just needed a big name.
I didn't understand why that one was on there. What was the one the female song? I think it's playing in the club. That's a banger.
Oh, Tate
That
McRae's one.
that is a banger. But nah, I thought it was good. I thought it was good.
I think. Do you think there'll be a sequel? I think there will. I think it
Yeah,
sets up
yeah.
quite nicely for one.
They've teed it up for a sequel for sure.
Yeah, I know. Lewis said they shouldn't rush into making one, but I think they will.
I just hope that Sonny Hayes isn't a driver again. He should move
No,
into something else.
I think they'll swap him out with the like team owner sort of role, so he
Yeah.
becomes like the figurehead, and then they have like Joshua Pierce as like he becomes like Lewis Hamilton or something.
Yeah, he's like the star.
Star of
Oh,
the original
another
press car.
one last bit that I didn't like was at the end. Joshua Pierce has crashed his brains out for the whole season. He wins a race over something that's really controversial, and Toto Wolff says, "Oh, I'm interested in hiring you." I was a bit like, ah, it was a bit cringe that bit.
Yeah, there was some bits which are like I would have liked to have seen the drivers a bit more.
Yeah, I can understand why they weren't though.
Yeah, I can
Obviously,
understand why it'd be a bit. Obviously, you don't want some Spanish person playing Carlos Sainz. Also, that bit was cringy. The girl in the club was like, "Can you introduce me to Carlos Sainz?"
yeah, yeah, yeah. I feel like that one was like off experience though, as in maybe some of the
No,
drivers have said that's
I
happened to
also,
them before.
I also think they played up to social things because the main villain was a Drive to Survive fan.
Oh yeah,
The
I forgot about
the,
that.
the like sponsor guy, and he's like, "I've learned loads
Yeah,
off Drive to Survive." So I
yeah,
think they've played up to like the stereotypes of modern F1, which I quite
yeah,
like. It's quite funny.
yeah. That is comedic for a fan. That is funny. I forgot
Right.
about that.
What would they call the next film? Surely they can't call it F1 2.
Nah, it'd be like F1 and then a title like Born to Survive or something like that, or I don't know.
Drive to Stay Alive.
First on the first on the gas, last on the brakes.
Tom Cruise comes back. It was just, in my opinion, it was literally just Top Gun with cars.
Pretty much like the scenes, the action scenes were very similar to Top Gun
Yeah,
Maverick.
and like the storyline sort of follows the same thing. But anyway, um, Austria driver ratings. There is some good ones, and there is one I'm very much looking forward to. But we will start in P10 with Esteban Ocon.
Can't really remember anything he did.
The Hasses look quick.
Did he just inherit P10 and that was it? I can't really remember if he did anything.
Well, we had four didn't finish. Snowden finished last. Colapinto 15th. Stroll 14th. Gasly 13th, Hajar 12th, Bayman 11th, and Ocon 10th. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, because we are filming this as FP1 for Silverstone is happening right now, I think he did have some decent pace, and I think he could have finished like 7th.
Oh right. Oh, okay.
Because there was like a proper scrap between him, the Saubers, and Alonso, and Lawson.
Right. Yeah.
I
Well,
will go. I'll go with a 7.
points is always good for a Haas. So yeah, 7.
P9, Nico Hulkenberg.
Good drive.
He is having one hell of a season.
He is. I mean, I was so skeptical when they signed him. I just thought it was like the safe bet. Wasn't really for it. Wanted something else. But he's
He
really.
can sort he can sort of edges like slowly drift off into retirement.
He's like prove it. Yeah. He's proven everyone wrong though with some of the drives that he's producing.
He's he is that just major midfield man, isn't he?
Sauber have got like 20 odd points now, which
I was just looking. They have 26. They're only 2 points behind Aston Martin, three behind Haas.
it's impressive.
Hey, don't when you've got the absolute goat of Formula One in the other car.
True.
Yeah, Hulkenberg, I'll give him an 8. P8, Gabi Bortoleto. It finally happened.
10. What a weekend.
It took us 20 episodes, but we finally got a Gabi Bortoleto 10 out of 10. Did
What
he get
a
Q3?
weekend. Yeah. He had pace all weekend. He was actually rapid.
Starting grid. Where did he start? He outqualified Antonelli and Gasly. Outqualified Alonso, Albon, Hajar, Sonoda, and Sainz.
Honestly, he actually genuinely had pace. Ran his own race, stayed out of trouble. Nothing wrong with
I
that.
think he was very unlucky not to get 7th as well. I think if there was no like lapped cars, he would have got Alonso because they had
Yeah.
quite a nice battle in like the last few laps. But yeah, Gabi Bortoleto, greatest Formula One driver of all time, 12 out of 10.
Yeah.
P7, Fernando Alonso. He's slowly carrying Aston Martin back.
Won that midfield sort of battle. Got one over his protege, Bortoletto.
Oh, he was going to say his teammate was like, it's not hard.
No, true. But yeah, no, good.
I'll give him a 8.
Yeah, I agree.
P6, Liam Lawson.
It's just that second Red Bull seat is just making me laugh. Just I don't know. It's a good drive. I still, unless he keeps it up, I still think he's out next year.
Oh, 100%.
What
It's
you think?
mental to
Do you
me,
think it's
right?
done? Even if he has a few more P6s.
Well, we will talk about the driver situation with the other team in a minute, but I think next year it will 100% be Hajar and Lindblad at Racing
Yeah,
Bulls.
yeah, yeah.
Lindblad will definitely be there. It depends if they want to risk Hajar, but I don't think they will. I think they'll keep him there. So currently, right, Yuki Tsunoda, well, the lowest from the top four teams, apart from Tsunoda, is Antonelli with 63 points. With 63 points, that would put Antonelli fifth in the Constructors' Championships on his own, right?
Yeah.
Yuki Tsunoda has scored 10 points. That would put him dead last.
Yeah.
It's just not going good for young Yuki, is it?
No, but are you surprised? Doesn't really go well for anyone there.
No, and that will be an interesting thing. Well, we're moving on to him now, so let's talk about it. P5, George Russell.
Well, well, well.
Dis-
I just don't know what to say because somehow there's a world where this bloke might lose his job.
There's a world where somehow he might. And let's be realistic, there's a world where he might not be on the grid next year.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
There's 100%. I don't think it will ever happen because he's far too good of a driver. But
yeah,
if certain people from the nation of the Netherlands do in fact move over to Mercedes, then there is every possibility that George takes a year out because
yeah.
teams might already be locked in by then.
100% freakier stuff's happened. I mean, I don't think that'll happen either. I'm still got my apprehensions that Verstappen would be going to Mercedes. I'm not sold, but it was a bad weekend for George.
Well, Toto said that their driver market will be sorted by the summer break. So he said they will have their driver lineup sorted by then.
I don't think it will now. I
No,
think it'll be let. I
he
think it'll be
said
later than that.
he said that on Wednesday, I think, either Wednesday or Tuesday.
He could lie. I can't see if I can't see a deal between them getting that done that quick.
Well, Max and
Yeah,
well, Max and Mercedes or George and Mercedes.
Max and Mercedes.
I think the thing is, I think George's contract is there and ready, but apparently Mercedes want to give him a 1 year, and he wants to have a multi-year.
I think that's so disrespectful, giving him a 1 year. I mean, surely he just feels like so hard done by. He's had such a good year. I don't know.
Surely if you're George now, you're looking at other options.
I would. They got no faith in him, clearly.
Well, clearly, Toto Wolff has been flirting with Max Verstappen for years, and clearly, Max Verstappen, the home wrecker, wants in. I think, in my opinion, I think he wants to get out with Red Bull.
Yeah, I I find that hard to believe, but also we were saying off camera that there's no smoke without fire. No, was it?
Yeah, there's no
Yeah,
smoke without fire.
yeah, yeah. I thought I got it the wrong way. There's no smoke without fire, so there must be some truth. They must at least have had talks or be in talks, which is interesting. They must be throwing him a bag. If it happens, I can't. I dread to think their money.
Well, how much is Max Verstappen earning a year? Max Verstappen yearly salary. Uh, Max Verstappen's yearly salary is reportedly $65 million a year.
You can get
He
it in
earns
the
additional,
hundreds.
he earns additional income from endorsements, EA, Heineken. Yeah. 2023's total earnings, including bonuses and endorsements, were estimated to be $80 million. Well, Lewis wanted $110 million from Mercedes, didn't he?
Oh, did he?
Yeah, that would. God, when was that? 2022, I think. He wanted like
Before
110 million.
you said anything, I thought ballpark figure for Max Verstappen would be 130 to go
Yeah,
to
you
Mercedes.
because Max has got a contract till 28, hasn't he?
Yeah, so they're gonna have to buy it out,
So you'd
and
have
it's
to
gonna
buy
be
him out.
messy. And something else that he's gonna have to get. sort of financial aid for is he's going to have to break his Red Bull contract, like his personal Red Bull contract. I
He has a
doubt,
performance.
I
He has a
doubt that
performance
they'd let
clause, doesn't he?
him go to Mercedes. Which are Mercedes still affiliated with Monster, or since Lewis is gone, is that gone?
No, I think they. I think McLaren are monster now.
Right. So he could keep his Red Bull sponsorship then, his personal, but I doubt they'd want to keep it.
Which F1 team does not? Yeah, monster sponsors McLaren.
Right.
Um, I mm, I think if Max left Red Bull would just cut ties with him completely.
Yeah. Which
Because
means, yeah,
because it just ultimately makes them look bad if they're like, oh, we've lost you, but please drink our drink.
yeah, fair. It's interesting, but back onto George for this weekend. Not the weekend that you would have wanted, but I think I did predict that Mercedes wouldn't be that quick.
Yeah, I think we sort of did the opposite. You predicted him to be quick, and I predict no, you predict him to not be quick. I predicted him to be quick, and yeah, they just struggled massively with the temperatures again,
Yeah.
which is what we saw sort of in Canada the other cars. P4 Lewis Hamilton. Don't know where that came from, but McLaren were in some McLaren were in a world of their own, and Ferrari were just Ferrari.
Yeah, I think they kind of picked up the pieces, didn't they? Obviously, Red
Yeah.
Bull, not competitive as soon as Max was out. Merc, nightmare. So there was only really only other one team that could be there. So, I mean, he got beaten by his teammate. So it can't be too high of a score. I know P4 is a good result, but I wouldn't say he was exactly competitive.
He bickered a bit with his team as well, didn't he?
When doesn't he?
Because he didn't want to stop, and they were like,
Yeah,
"No, we're
that
stopping."
was weird though. That was weird.
Well, they did it to Charles in Canada as well. Charles
I,
was saying how he didn't want tyres, and they were like, "No, you're having the tyres," and he was like, "Please do not give me these tyres," and they give him the tyres anyway.
Personally, I just don't. If the driver is saying, like Lewis was like, "Oh, how many laps are left?" and they said, and he was like, "Oh, easy. I feel fine. The tires are great." Why wouldn't they listen to him?
Because all they've effectively did was guarantee him to finish behind Charles, whereas if they kept him going, he could have potentially have beaten Charles and got third. Because George finished like 30 seconds behind him, so they were
This
under no threat from behind.
this makes sense for a team fighting for a championship, but neither of them are going to be competitive for this year. So why don't you just let them fight?
And like, to be fair, they're only 1 point ahead of Mercedes in the constructors. Wow, that's second place constructors for actually. So, but yeah, it was Ferrari and their strategy and just that sort of part of their game is not working, and it's something that has been an issue now for years, and I do not get how they haven't fixed it.
Well, it's been an issue for like 7, 8 years.
It's been an issue probably since Seb got there.
Yeah, bit longer then, more like 10.
Forever.
It's mental.
P3, Hamilton, I'll give him a 7.
I could give him a 6.
Will you? Your goat,
Yeah.
by the way. Um,
Washed up.
P3 Charles Leclerc. I will go with a. Where did he qualify? I want to say third. Did he qualify third?
I think
No, he
he's
qualified
front
second,
runner.
didn't he? Yeah, he qualified second. I'll go with an 8 out of 10.
Good qualifying,
I
but he is
yeah.
a qualifying man, isn't he, Charles Leclerc?
Borderline a qualifying merchant.
Yeah, I'd say so.
But also, you would expect Piastri to get past him.
Sorry.
Bless you.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
like I find it hard to get excited for a Charles Leclerc podium. Sorry, I said it,
Yeah.
but it's just like, oh, okay,
Because he never seems to be higher than third.
nah. And I just think that's why I'm like, all right, he got third place.
Big whoop.
Yeah, but what I was gonna say is, do you think he's keeping an eye on this Max Mercedes saga?
I think he'd borderline be the biggest beneficiary if something does happen.
So it gives him a,
'Cause-
what to Red Bull? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, or to somewhere else if something even weirder happens. Like
Oh, like a
we
McLaren going to Red Bull.
yeah,
and
we
then-
we spoke about it the other day, didn't we?
yeah.
And we said Russell will probably either, if he does leave and get replaced, will either fill Max's spot at Red Bull or potentially go to Aston Martin. And then the Red Bull really would be between one of the McLarens, Charles, Lewis, or Alonso for their sort of main driver. And
Alonso would be nuts.
I think the biggest options then would be Alonso, Leclerc, and Piastri.
Yes, I would say out of all of them, genuinely the most likely would be Alonso, which is insane.
Yeah. So I had a conversation with someone on in my comments on TikTok, I think, and they were like, I could see Alonso doing like a 26, 27, and then moving aside for like a Hajar or something.
Yeah, which is mad because he'd be like a million years old by 2027.
8 million and five.
But he's still a really good driver. So who am I to say that he can't have a top drive?
Who would you want to see in that? So let's say, hypothetically, Mercedes next year run Kimi Antonelli and Max Verstappen. George Russell is floating around on the driver market. What's your ideal for the
Selfishly,
sort of?
selfishly for cinema reasons, because I don't really have a dog in
I
the
I
fight.
already know what you're gonna say.
I don't have a dog in the fight for this really, so I don't care what happens. So I'd move Alonso out.
What, the sport
Unfor-
completely?
yeah, unfortunately, in my hypothetical, I would actually. I'd move Alonso out. I'd have Russell into the Aston, Max in the Merc, and I'd have Piastri or Norris, I don't really care which one, in the Red Bull. Because then you've got everyone in a different team and you've not got any of this papaya rules nonsense. And you can have people fighting wheel to wheel. You've got Leclerc in the Ferrari, Max in the Merc, Lando or Piastri in the McLaren, then one of the other two in the Red Bull.
I think the most mental way you could do it is George goes to Aston, Leclerc goes to Red Bull, and Alonso goes to Ferrari.
Nah, I don't think Alonso would ever go back to Ferrari. I
The
think that
world's
is
oldest.
like,
Can you imagine him and Hamilton being teammates?
oh my God. Oh my God, I forgot.
I think the world would end.
That would be cinema.
It'd be funny.
I think they'd retire each other. Like the amount of warfare that would go on in that garage and on the track, they would
Both to
retire each
retire at the
other.
end of the year.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that happen. P2 Oscar Piastri. It's a sort of meh weekend from from Oscar, isn't it?
Oh, sorry. Just to add, if the McLaren spot frees up, then you get Alex Dunn, and then you've got chaos.
Oh, by the way, we have to talk about him because I can fully see him getting a seat next year.
He's doing enough, isn't he? He is doing enough. I mean, he's
Apparently after his FP1 performance, people like in the paddock were like, "Well, we could get him."
yeah. I'm not surprised. That was impressive. That was very impressive.
Alpine.
Maybe. But
Yeah,
Oscar,
you haven't got anywhere else to
Oscar.
go.
I think my prediction again was kind of accurate, where I said he was going to struggle on tyres.
Yeah,
I think he didn't have a good stop, did he? Neither of the McLarens had a good stop, but his stop was slower.
McLaren's strategy as well was really weird.
Well, it's that
Because they said,
papaya rules again, wasn't it?
but yeah, they said to Oscar, no, they said to Lando, they were like, even if Oscar gets ahead, we'll have like first call on the pit stop. So maybe they're working off their strategy off a Saturday,
Yeah.
which makes no sense to me. But because in my opinion, if you're the first driver, you should. If you're the driver in front, you
You
should
should
have.
get the better strategy.
Yeah, you should have first shot.
I mean, I don't think Oscar was going to get past him anyway.
No, I think the P2 was probably the most Oscar could ask for.
It was close, and if anything slightly changed, then he probably could have. It could have happened. It was just. I mean, they finished what? It was like 3 or 4 seconds in the end, but
2.6 it says, but
it never went more than 5 the whole race, pretty much.
yeah, there was a weird bit where it was like stuck at around 5-6 seconds. Then he closed like 1.3, and then they
Yeah.
had to lap everyone, and he just kept getting. He'd like
It was
catch up
annoying.
and then drop.
It was like twice it happened where he was closing, and he'd pull like a fastest lap of the race, take 1.1 off in one lap, and then you're like, all right, here we go. And yeah, as you said, he nearly got rammed off the track by Colapinto.
This this is my issue with Formula One, right? We need to get rid of blue flags.
And do what?
Because right, if you're getting lapped, keep the blue flags, but you can only go past one. Because this thing of when they can go past three, every driver's going to go, well, yeah, I'll go past three, try and extend how far I can actually go and try and get minimal loss. Just don't get lapped in the first place.
Yeah.
Stop being so bad. It's just so, it ruins races. And if you're in, like, because especially with the nature of Austria, how quickly they catch up to the back of people. Like, they lapped everyone up to 7th and probably could have got Lawson as well.
That's ridiculous, isn't it? No race should really be like that. In my opinion.
Saying that, I remember back in 2021 where like everyone bar the top 3 would get lapped.
It's ridiculous. That what a time that was.
What a time to be alive.
It's crazy. Never seen such dominant cars then.
Oh, and the 2021 Max and Lewis when they were finishing like 50 seconds ahead of their teammates.
Yeah.
It's stupid. I'll give Oscar a 6.
I'll give him a 7 because he didn't really do anything wrong. He just
Lando Norris. I will go with a 10.
Yeah, he had a good weekend.
It's a weekend we've been asking Lando to have for a long time. Just quick, literally clean.
Yeah, it was like squeaky clean. Nothing happened.
Squeaky.
No, it was good. Good for him. But let's be honest, that's not making Piastri sweat, is it?
No, I don't think Piastri will be too...
Oh no, I finished second. It's not the end of the world when he's already got more wins than him.
Well, it's... The gap's 15 points now.
I mean, don't get me wrong. One race can completely turn that upside down.
Well, yeah, we saw that in Canada, didn't we?
Yeah. But it's not the end of the world.
No. Biggest winners and biggest losers. Biggest winners, I will go Sauber. And biggest losers, I'll go Williams.
Fair, yeah. Biggest
Sauber double points. Williams had a non-start and a DNF.
Biggest losers, I'll go Red Bull.
Oh yeah, to be fair, they had a pretty much a double DNF because Yuki Tsunoda was in
weekend,
the car.
Yeah. Biggest losers, Red Bull. I'll go biggest winner, Lawson. I think that was
P6
or Bortoletto actually.
I give it. I wanted to say Bortoletto, but I said Sauber because both of them were there. So
yeah, but Bortoletto really needed something. I mean, the first points on the board. He's not just an NPC making up the numbers.
Right, British Grand Prix. I think it's one of our most talked about tracks of how we say how good it is. Yeah. You looking forward to this one?
I am. It's always good. I think it's going to be top 3 races of the year. Always is. I don't know what to expect, though.
I have got a bone to pick, though, with Formula 1.
What's up?
Have you seen they're doing a thing on Instagram, right, where they're looking at like their best races from 2020, from like Silverstone and that, and the current thing they've got is 1987 versus 2021, 2024 versus 2008, 2020 versus 2019, and 2022 versus 2003. If 2024 beats 2008, I'm never watching Formula 1 again. I was there last year, and don't get me wrong, it was a good weekend, but nothing real special happened except for the fact that Lewis won.
Yeah, but that's
speaking of Lewis, Lewis is currently top of FP1.
He always turns up.
Lindblad and Aaron 16th and 17th.
Who are they faster than?
Guess.
Tsunoda.
No.
Oh, right.
Considering Lindblad's driving Tsunoda's car.
Oh shit, yeah. Bortoletto.
No.
Oh wait, is Aaron driving his car?
No, Aaron's driving Hulkenberg's.
Colapinto.
No.
I don't know.
Colapinto was 12.
I'm rubbish.
Gasly, Albon and Sainz.
Christ.
The top 4 is Hamilton, Norris, Piastri, Leclerc, all separated by 2 tenths. I love the British Grand Prix.
It's so good.
Oh, also 2 new liveries. We have the Chrome McLarens back,
Yep, nice.
and the V carb have got a weird squiggly. Looks like it's a rip off of Lando Norris's armor.
All right. I'll have a look.
I want to get a photo. I'll try to get a photo of that. They released it earlier this week. V carb, because they've done 2 special liveries, haven't they? Nope. What are they called? Hamilton goes quickest. What are they called?
Oh yeah, I think I've just
Oh, no,
seen
they're
it
called
from-
RB, and they. Oh, I don't know. I give up trying to look for them on Instagram. They're too hard.
I've
But
just
yeah.
had a look. Oh, I like the V carb one. That's cool.
McLaren always seem to roll back that chrome for Silverstone, don't they?
Yeah, well, it's iconic, isn't it?
Just make it the full-time livery. Bin off the black.
I'd be up for that.
I would.
But they
Like-
do it because obviously they're just the exposed carbons lighter and stuff, isn't it?
Yeah. What's your thoughts going into this weekend? Let's go with qualifying. Give me a top 3.
My qualifying top 3 will be P1 Piastri.
All right.
Been thinking about it a lot, and I think he's going to be the quickest this weekend.
Mm.
I think he's going to win. I'll go P2. I'm going to go with Charles Leclerc.
Right.
That Hamilton, I know it's only FP1, but that reaffirms to me that they might have a bit of pace. And P3, I'll go Norris.
I can't. I think Ferrari have bought upgrades this weekend. Let me check. It came up on my Twitter earlier. No, McLaren have bought 2 performance upgrades. Red Bull have bought 2 performance upgrades. Mercedes and Ferrari haven't bought any upgrades. I think P1 will be. Ooh. I'll go with Lando. I back him for 202 because he's usually very good at qualifying at Silverstone. P2, I will go with. Oh, I don't know. P2, I'll go with George.
Okay.
And P3, I'm going to go with Oscar. I was going to say Lewis, but I think Oscar. Because I just think the car's too good.
Yeah, I think even if he isn't that quick, the car is good enough to get them in the top 3.
It sort of bails you out, doesn't it? Just on
Yeah.
performance alone.
Yeah.
Give me a race predictions. Top 3 in the race.
I've just got a feeling that Piastri is going to walk away with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it might be like pandemonium behind him. I think he's going to be consensus quickest and he might get away. But then I think the scrap for P2 down to like 5th is going to be quite competitive.
Yeah, I was about to say, I have a feeling that sort of like podium to the fringes of the podium is going to be a really good battle.
Yeah. And I think it's hard to not look past like another McLaren 1-2.
Yeah, it's the easy way out in it, really.
Just because now I think Red Bull have dropped off again, a little bit again now. They are consensus, just the quickest car. So I'm gonna go with the Norris P2, and I'll go with George P3. I think the people of Silverstone would be very happy if that was the top 3.
I saw a thing on TikTok. It was like, there's a chance we could have 5 different British drivers finishing in the top 5. And I was like, that involves Ollie Bearman finishing 5th.
Yeah. Okay.
P1, I will go with. Oh, I'm going to agree with you. I think P1's going to go to Oscar. P2, I'm going to go with Lando. And P3, I will go with Charles.
So like Austria, but just 1 and 2 swapped.
Yeah, like Austria, but
I think it's
So I can just-
it's a fair prediction.
what's the weather going to be like for Silverstone this week?
I was
If it's
going to
hot,
ask that.
Mercedes are going to get shafted. Silverstone, because they usually have a Silverstone British Grand Prix on you. Where is Silverstone? It's Northampton, isn't it?
Yeah.
Saturday, there's rain in the morning at 4 a.m. and it's overcast and cool, so it might be okay for Mercedes
Yeah,
if it's
yeah.
not baking hot sun.
I think George will get a podium. Got a feeling.
Give me a biggest winner. Oh, your.
These ones are so hard to predict, so may
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
you can. I don't think we've ever got these right.
I just may as well go wild. We'll go for biggest winners. Will be Williams,
Right.
even though
Okay.
they're very slow in FP1. Actually, thinking about it,
I will go with Nico Hulkenberg
why is that?
because I think historically he is pretty solid around Silverstone.
Where is he at the
And
minute in FP1?
oh, great question. Live reporting, sports journalism coming in clutch, player. This is why we do it. It'll take me 3 hours to get through the F1 app, but Nico Hulkenberg is currently sat in the garage because Paul Aaron is in his car.
Oh yeah,
Lindblad's up to 13th, Paul Aaron's in 16th.
not bad.
Hamilton's still first. Ooh. Yeah, I just think Hulkenberg, he was good there last year in the Haas. And he's riding sort of a wave with the Sauber, which seems to be up in its pace a bit.
Yeah, okay, I like that. I don't
Give
hate
me your
it.
biggest loser.
Biggest loser of the weekend will be. Could literally be anything.
It could be anything and anyone because of it was such a weird result last race. You could sort of say like even if a Lawson doesn't score points, it's a lose.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose I'll go with I'll go with Colapinto. He won't score points again,
He's going to take Oscar out this time for real.
potentially. Let's hope not.
I'm going to go with Lance Stroll because I think he could just properly like a P18 sort of job.
Yeah, just like nothing, no bright, like
Not
anything
even,
to
not
be
even a
positive
shimmer of
about.
hope.
Yeah, just
Um,
everything, just a dull weekend.
Random prediction.
Oh, you're killing me. I will go with. I'm gonna kind of go against what you've said. I'm gonna go with the
Right.
Astons. The Astons are decently quick, and they're both. I'm not gonna say Lance is gonna get points, but I'm gonna say he's gonna finish like 11th, and Alonso will be around the 7th again, doing well, winning like the mid pack race.
I'm going to go with. Oh, I'm going to go with we're going to have like a 2019 Silverstone where two of cars from the top four teams can crash into each other.
Oh dear,
So like a Max and a George, or like a Kimmy and a Lewis.
Max and George would be good
That would be great.
considering
When I guess
everything.
whoever DNFs doesn't get a seat next year.
Yeah, that would be good.
Well, that has been our Austrian Grand Prix review and our British Grand Prix preview for this weekend. We are just about beating FB1 to be finished, so sorry this is late. We have had a quite busy week, but we hope you have enjoyed. If you are watching on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify, drop us a follow and a 5-star. It massively helps. I have been Max,
And I've been Reef.
and this has been the Push to Pass F1 podcast.